Alright, so today we're going to talk about this amazing tube here. Full disclosure, I'm not sponsored by them. I actually purchased this with my own money. It's a versatile way to smoke if you have, like, say, a gas grill and you want the flavor of smoke. I run charcoal, so I'm not that worried about it, but what I am interested in is cold smoking. So we're going to try it out with some cheese today, and if it looks promising, we may do it with some sausage later on down the road. But let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so here we are outside with our amazing tube. We're going to fill it up with some applewood pellets that I got from Pit Boss. And we're going to light one end of it, kind of like a cigar. It's going to burn. Should provide us 4 hours of fuel. We're going to time it just to make sure and see if we can get the temperature up high enough to get this cheese smoked. So let me go ahead and fill this tube up, and then we'll put it in our grill and light it up. Alright, so we got our tube full of applewood pellets. I'm using the Pit Boss ones because that's what I could find where I was at. And I'm basically going to hit it with a torch lighter on one end, light it up, and let this thing just smoke. So let me get it down in the grill and get it lit up, and then we'll bring our cheese out here and get it started smoking. Alright, it does have a clean smoke coming out of it, better than I've ever got with charcoal. The temperature is not moving very much on it though. It came up about 2 degrees in maybe 3 minutes. I don't know if it's going to have enough heat, but if you're just smoking cheese, this might be perfect. A lot better than the methods I've used before in the past of using charcoal and throwing chips of wood chips in that are soaked. But we'll see. We'll let this run and see. I'm going to let the temps come up just a little bit more, and we're going to bring our cheese out. Alright, so it's been about 15 minutes and my smoke is looking amazingly clean. This might actually work. I've got some cheeses here. Today we're going to be working with just some straight cheddar here at the bottom and some Colby Jack at the top. And these two, I actually scored the tops of the cheese to see if that makes a difference in the cold smoking process. With cold smoking, we don't want to go over 90 degrees because then our cheese will start melting. And I've got them on this wire rack to just make it a little easier to get them on and off the grill. So let's pop the lid open. Woo, yeah, that's plenty of smoke. And I'm going to set the cheese as far away from the tube as I can. It's still smoking pretty good. That size tube says that it lasts 4 hours. We're going to time it just to make sure. And may take about 2 hours and flip the wire rack around because this one is kind of hitting this block right on. But if it burns consistently across, it should burn straight over. So we may do some shuffling around of the rack. If I do, I will let you know what we changed. But let's get the lid on it and get it smoking. Come back and check it later. Alright, so here we are at the hour mark. My temperatures have been holding right around 65, 68, somewhere around in there. So, unfortunately, the first rule of smoking is if you're looking, you ain't cooking. But I'm real curious to see what it's looking like. So, I'm going to take a look. You want to see too? Come on. So not a whole lot of change so far, but it's only been about an hour and we've only come out about an inch past our tube there. We'll check it in another 2 hours. That'll be 3 hours cook time, and see how much pellets we got left and see if there's any change in the cheese. Cold smoking process, it may not change color that much, but we just want to infuse all this smoke into the cheese. So let's come back in about 2 hours and see what it looks like. Alright, so we are 3 hours total into this cook. The temperature is holding at 88 degrees. Now, I did have my ash catcher removed at the beginning of the cook, and I had to put it on about 2 hours into the cook because the heat was rising. I also cut my bottom vent from fully open to a quarter open, and my top vent is about 1/8 of an inch open. But let's go ahead and take a look at our cheese and see how it's doing. Alright, we can see a little bit of moisture building up here on the sides. It's starting to feel more firm. Especially the cheddar is turning a nice orange color where it was kind of yellow. So if you're motion sensitive, just bear with me. And our tube is about 2/3 of the way through. So I think it's going to hit that 4-hour mark. But we're just going to put the lid back on it and let it finish out a little bit more. And check back in at the 4-hour mark and see what she's looking like. And if we have any more pellets, we'll just let it go until it burns completely out. So let me get the lid back on and get it back smoking. So we are about 4 hours in on this cook, and the temperature was holding at a steady 88 degrees for about an hour. So I'm going to take a look at the cheese and see what it looks like, see how much pellets we got left, and if we can go any longer, we will. So smoky. Looks like we've got about 1 inch of pellets left, so we might let this go a little longer. The cheese is nice and firm. I can feel the oils on my hand, so that's a good sign that the smoke has started to penetrate. I am going to do one thing though, just for the last part of this cook. I'm going to flip my cheese over and let this side that's been grate down get more smoke, because it seems like the smoke is mainly penetrating the tops. Alright, while we've still got a little bit of pellets left, I'm going to let this bottom side now get a little more smoke and see if that makes a difference. Alright, so that's our end product right there. Some smoky Colby Jack cheese. I also did the cheddar. We already tore through 1 block of cheddar, so I'm starting in on this now. Did have about a 5-hour runtime on that smoke tube. It only advertises a 4-hour runtime, but if I can get an extra hour out, I'll take it. So let's try this and see how it came out. Now I did let it sit in the fridge in a vac seal bag for about 12 to 14 hours before I actually cut into it. This one has actually been in there for a day or so, but it's got a nice texture to it. The middle is soft and creamy. The outside, where it got most of the smoke, has a little bit of a texture to it, and scoring the block didn't do as much as I thought it would. The cheddar one that we already finished off was just a smooth block. This one had the serrations in it to score it. Really didn't do that much, so just don't even worry about doing that step. It's not even necessary. Now, if I'd have seasoned it up with some seasoning, maybe it would have made a difference. But as far as just using the smoke as your seasoning, wasted step, don't waste your time. But it has a real good flavor. Nice and smooth. The texture is almost kind of like a wax cheese texture on the outside, but the inside is just smooth and creamy and a ton of smoke flavor. Wouldn't have thought I would have got that much smoke flavor off of that little tube running at 90 degrees. But now that I know this method's solid, I got some high hopes for this when it comes to doing some smoked sausages, doing some cold smoke curing, and then freeze them up, pull them out whenever I'm ready to go. But that's the video today. Go ahead and leave me a comment down below if you want to see some other cheeses smoked, or you want to try some cold smoking with some other products. Like I mentioned, sausage is coming up. Go ahead and leave that down in the comments. If you would, go ahead and subscribe. I checked the other day, and 98% of the people watching this video probably aren't subscribed, because that's the way all the analytics look for all the other videos that I have. So go ahead and do yourself a favor, subscribe and click that bell for notifications. That way you'll get an update every time that I upload a video. But for today, we're going to chow down on this. We'll catch you on the next video, and have fun grilling.